Triathlon saddles can be a pain in the butt. And it's no wonder, because if I asked you to sit on this chair for 5 hours, you'd be pretty uncomfortable after a while. So it's no wonder you're uncomfortable on a saddle. What if there was a company that promised not only to make you more comfortable, but also faster with their saddle? Interested to find out more? I certainly was. We've come to the Ergon headquarters in Germany to find out more about their latest release, the Ergon SR Triathlon saddle. Designed with input from Jan Frodeno, it promises to not only solve their age-old comfort on a triathlon bike problem, they also claim it's going to make you faster on the run. Bold claims indeed. Let's head inside and find out some more. Hello.
Hey,
Simon.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. This is Simon Schumacher. He is the head of ergonomics here at Ergon. So what am I holding in my hand?
Actually, it's our new SR Triathlon saddle.
It looks pretty good, but I assume you didn't just sketch this up on a blackboard in the last month and then make it and now you're selling it.
Yeah, it was a quite short process. Just kidding. It took us like 2 to 3 years, and I will show you around and show you how we get to this point that you have.
Yeah, let's go find out the process that got to this point that I'm holding a new saddle first. Let me take you through the saddles. This way?
This way.
Cool.
So, come in.
All right, where are we now?
We are right at the heart of the Ergon Development Center, I would say.
Okay, this is where all the magic happens.
This is where all the magic happens, yes. So we asked Jan Frodeno if he has some problems. And he came to us and said, yeah, guys,
couldn't solve all his problems, but they promised to solve his triathlon saddle problems at the very least. Okay, so what did that look like? Jan Frodeno came in here the first time and you just said, here's 17 mock-up saddles, choose one and then take it from there, or?
Actually, I went to him.
Okay, yeah, right.
It's Jan Frodeno.
It's Jan Frodeno, yeah, you got him, he doesn't come to you. Fair enough.
Yeah, but we start with an interview, say what are your problems, try to imagine them. Then we start with pressure mapping, couple it with our experience in pressure mapping, say, okay, there are some things with his current saddle he's using we could improve.
Okay.
There are some things some features we have to try if they work or if they didn't. And so we went step by step, building prototypes, testing, doing pressure mapping, bringing all things together. And then at the end, we came up with a shape that we hope, and it was the feedback of Jan, that it really helped him to improve his overall riding.
You can turn around prototypes here in this lab pretty quickly, can't you?
Yeah, I would say it would take us like 1 week.
Really?
To build a prototype, from the idea, scratch, CID, reshape it, bring it to the 3D printing machine, bring it to our milling machine, and then we can very easily and very fast check the prototypes.
Great.
And here we are.
All right, now we're in the Ergonomics Lab, and we're going to play a bit with a few of the things here, but first, introduce the actual saddle, the SR Triathlon, except there's 4 saddles here.
Yeah.
Simon, I thought you said you had 1 new saddle. You got 4 new saddles? What am I looking at here?
Yeah, one would be boring, obviously, right?
Well,
yeah.
I mean, what is the difference?
Like typical for Ergon, we decide between men's and women's version, and we stick to this with our triathlon series.
Okay.
But we bring up, new to our saddles, is the power position. We call it front and mid, and so we have to bring 2 women's saddles, a front and a mid, and 2 men's specific saddles, a front and a mid type.
Ah, so these are different. One of them's front, one of them's mid.
Yeah.
What is this predetermined? Like, or can I just choose whether I'm a front or a mid?
You are born mid and born front.
Oh, okay, right.
It is, yeah.
Do I go into a bathroom to check? Do I need to like go to the little boys' room and have a good look with
see. Am I front
or am I mid?
It's about the sitting type and the sitting position,
Okay.
like the sitting point on the saddle. When you compare them to each other, like you see that the one has a very long and shallow nose, the other has a very wide and short nose. And so it is the sitting point on the front or it is made to sit on the front and it's made to sit in the middle region of the saddle.
So do I just look at my current saddle and go, I mostly sit on the front, I must be a front sitter?
There are some,
Is there some way I can figure it out?
That's a good point. There are some, there are anatomics and subjective behavior that brings you into a position that you are a front user and a mid user. And it is that you cannot change this behavior. So one of the saddle would fit you better and you cannot say, okay, I want to be a mid user, I go with the mid. So it is, there are certain, like a sit bone width. Yeah. It's the same, you cannot change your sit bone width. It's when you're born in that.
So you're going to tell me which one of these I should be riding then? I don't get to choose front or mid.
In this case, we make a video where we explain in detail how to get to your decision whether you are front or mid.
Oh, easy. We'll put that link below this video. All right, so then what is the difference between men's and women's? I see, is that 3D printed?
Yeah, it is 3D printed.
The men didn't qualify for 3D printing. The budget didn't stretch that far.
It's too technical.
I don't know. What is the real reason why women have 3D printing and men don't?
We understand that there's a man's and a woman's specific anatomy. And so we have to make sure that we find the right features to improve the comfort of them. And there we speak about the type of pressure relief. The mans have to have a very wide and surface-orientated front nose area, which is, like you see, the pressure relief channel is very, very shallow.
Yeah.
And the women's, they are very sensitive in their front genital area, and so we had to bring another function into this pressure relief channel. Then we decided to go with a 3D printed material where we can change the shore hardness. So then you have like a hard shore hardness to hold the bony structures and the weight. And then we have this soft tissue kind of material to add a little support even to your pressure relief channel. And so in total, you increase the overall surface area.
So you decrease the pressure on each point because you've increased slightly in that pressure release channel, whereas the men can just have a big channel there in the middle.
Exactly.
Interesting. I mean, I think I know which of these two I need to choose. Not that one. Now I'm going to choose which of these two, front or mid. So let's get into my tri-suit and figure out whether I'm a front or a mid. Is it normal that you're off to one side? Most people have a bias.
Yeah,
from one side or the other.
Like everyone is not homogeneously balanced.
Yeah.
So this is a very common pressure mapping.
All right, so we've done some pressure mapping and decided that I am actually just like Jan Frodeno. I told you, I've got exactly the same saddle that Jan Frodeno rode at the end of his career, that he won the PTO race on in his final win, that he rode at Ironman World Champs in Nice in his final race. This is the same saddle and it's my saddle. See, I told you. Okay, jokes aside, I am a mid-sitter and we use pressure mapping to figure that out. But as we said earlier, you don't need to use pressure mapping to figure that out, right?
No, we, as I just said, you can look at our video that we've just made where we try to clarify the process how to get to your best position, to your power position.
Figure out whether you're a mid or you're a front. I am a mid, so we've put that on my bike, an SR Tri men's mid saddle that I am in. I'm looking forward to many miles on this saddle. It's actually really comfortable. I'll get back on in a minute. But there's one more thing we haven't spoken about, and that is, as we said earlier, this saddle makes you faster. But it's not just because it's super sleek and aerodynamic. It's got a power position that you spoke about, but that doesn't lock you in to a position, which is a bit counterintuitive. Can you explain that a bit?
It is a dynamic power position. That means we have to make sure that you can move around in a slight certain way, so that we add a new pressure point to your old pressure point, and in this case you get a certain relief on this loaded area.
So you can move slightly forward, slightly back without affecting the amount of power you're putting out, but you can relieve maybe hamstrings a little bit or your quads a little bit, depending on what you've been overusing for a bit.
Yeah, and also preloaded areas from your sitting, in your sitting anatomics.
Oh, right, yeah, you can change to slightly move the pressure point a little bit. I mean, that can only be a good thing. And without losing any power. And I've had saddles in the past where there was a comfortable spot and it was just so. And if you were a little bit forward of that, you were not comfortable. You're a little bit further back, you were not comfortable. And you can obviously see the issues with that on the back end of an Ironman bike where your hamstrings start getting sore, your quads start getting tight, and you can't move because there's one spot that you have to be in. So solve that. That's obviously free speed because you can keep pushing that power. That's definitely a win. And then you also told me, which is a bit of a dubious claim because you're leaving the saddle in T2, that this saddle is going to make you faster on the run, and I'm not entirely sure how. Can you explain that?
It's about running stronger. It's mainly about the transition from cycling to running. It's mainly about changing from sitting to standing or to walking, which is, from a biomechanical perspective, a very problematic process.
Yeah, it's a big shift.
It's a big shift, and it took you like 5 to 10 kilometers. And in this period, there are marginal gains that will make you faster because you get to this point where you run in a very comfortable way. Quicker.
Yeah, faster because you can make that shift. Is that because of the multiple power positions? So you're relieving some pressure? Or is it because you've released some pressure on your hamstrings or what?
Power position means that you can concentrate on pedaling, not on holding your position on the saddle. Like your lower back, your upper back, your shoulder regions, because the saddle does its job just as a stable weight loader, I would say.
Yeah.
You can fully concentrate on pedaling, and your lower back and upper back is very de-stressed when you get to running.
So take the pressure off your lower back. We've all been there where you got off your bike and your lower back was just like, oh, I can't move right now. So hopefully that's going to solve that. I'm going to hop on right now and ride it a little bit more. I'll let you know how that goes when I next do an Ironman marathon. Not in the near future. Anyway, I'm enjoying the saddle. Well, I'm pretty happy with my new saddle on my TT bike. It's pretty comfortable, actually. I'm very, very stoked. Thank you so much, Simon, for walking me through it and giving me my new saddle and making sure it's the right one for me, very importantly. We're actually giving some of these away in a competition on GTN, so watch the GTN show this week for your chance to win one of your SR Triathlon saddles from Ergon this month. Get your hands on one of those. Thanks for watching, everybody, and goodbye.